It appears that US citizens are being erased from the National Citizenship Database. Let me show you what I mean.
So, crazy fun experience I had today is I was driving and I noticed a cop bang a U-turn hard. Turned her blues on, came flying up behind me, so I parked in a bank parking lot just because it was out of the way and it's Sunday. And so I am sitting there, she walks up, she tells me why she pulled me over. It was because of a inspection sticker, not a big deal, really. Asked for my ID, give her my ID, and then she comes back over after, 4 or 5 minutes, and she's like, do you have an ID in any other states? And I was like, yeah, here's the other states I've had IDs in. And so I'm not thinking much of it. I was like, okay, it must be a clerical issue or something. And she ends up coming back a few minutes later, and she's like, okay, can I get your social security number? I was like, that's a first. I've never had them ask for my social security number at any traffic stop, ever. So I'm like, okay, here's the social security number. Then like 5 minutes later again, she comes back. She's like, yeah, so I'm not pulling you up in any of our systems, in any state. You said you had to like...
Whoa. So here it is, a citizen of the United States, and his information is being erased from the national database. What is going on here, guys?
She's like, I had to call my sergeant. I was like, okay, well, we'll see how that goes then. So the sergeant ends up coming up. He asked me to step out of the car, but essentially plays back everything. He's like, is this a real license? I was like, yeah, it's a real license. He's like, this is a real license from that state. I'm like, yeah, it is. He's like, so there's no like security codes or holographics or anything? I was like, I don't know. It's just the ID they give me. And I was like, I even have the motorcycle permit in my wallet still. So it's like, I have that one if you want to see that one. He's like, hold on then. So then they have me stand at the back of the cruiser. The officer originally pulled me over. She stands there with me while the sergeant's doing his thing. And I don't know, like 20 minutes later, he comes back over. He's like, I got it all squared away. You're all set. I was like, no, hold on. You just like basically told me I might be getting arrested. That you guys think I have a fake ID, which is another crime in and of itself. And I was like, basically, you guys told me you have no idea who I am or what I am, yet I gave you my license. What is happening? And then, like, you asked my social security number. That's never happened before. He's like, well, in all honesty, you can thank ICE for this one. I was like, what? He's like, your name. I was like, so because I have a Hispanic last name, I'm flagged in ICE? He's like, well, you're not just flagged. You're kind of removed from everything. So I almost got arrested because of a system with ICE flagging a U.S.-born citizen who spent my entire life in this country since the day I was born. 2 generations of my family have been born in the United States, and yet I got flagged. And the kicker is my last name isn't even Mexican, it's Spanish. So I am Hispanic, but the last name that we have is actually a Spaniard last name.
Okay, so here it is, guys, where people who have Hispanic sounding names are being removed from the national database as a citizen. And we're going to find that they were also being termed terrorist. Now, this brings to question what in the world this ICE operation is actually in place for. So I'm just going to leave something with you real quick, and then I'm going to call it a night.
The way you see an idea in your mind.
What if the ICE crackdown isn't about immigration at all, but about constructing and normalizing an internal security force? A secret police designed to suppress dissent as social trust collapses and the American system begins to fracture. The killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy have pushed ICE back into the national spotlight, reigniting public outrage and dominating headlines in an already volatile Trump-era news cycle. But for anyone paying attention, these deaths weren't shocking. They were predictable, the logical outcome of a year year spent transforming ICE from an immigration agency into something closer to a domestic military force. What the public is reacting to now is only the visible surface of a much deeper buildup that has been unfolding quietly, systematically, and largely unnoticed. There's a reason secret police forces across history tend to look the same. They follow recognizable patterns, and once you know them, it becomes difficult to ignore how closely ICE is beginning to align. So what happened to Good and Preddy isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning, and it's going to get a lot worse. Despite the rhetoric and the sense that immigration is out of control, the data tells a different story. In 2025, Trump deported roughly 300,000 non-citizens. That number sounds enormous until you put it into context. In 2012 alone, during the Obama administration, nearly 500,000 people were deported in a single year. Over 8 years, Obama deported more than 5 million people, double the amount Trump did in his first term. Today, deportation numbers are lower, yet the crackdown is far more extreme, which raises an obvious question. If immigration isn't objectively worse, if deportations aren't historically unprecedented, then why has ICE been transformed into one of the most aggressive, heavily armed federal agencies in the country? ICE now operates with an annual budget of $11.3 billion.
Let's just look at that number. $11.3 billion. And what's so bad about this is that United States citizens have been targeted. And not only have they been targeted, but their citizenship, in a lot of cases, if they have a Hispanic last name, has been revoked. Now, as we're looking at the end, and as we're approaching many things that are happening right now, I just wanted to leave a food for thought that perhaps this operation is not really what they say it is. Perhaps this is about setting the scene for those people who come against, when they pass the mark of the beast, those people that stand up for the word of God for real. So as we're seeing these things unfold, guys, let's just remember to stay in the word of God and to keep the faith and to understand that God is our protection.